Hold on.
We're live.
Hi, and welcome to episode 83 of the Gridirons of Europe podcast. My name is Andre, and with me, as always, are my two co-hosts. I've got Antoine and Ystad here. Welcome, guys.
What's going on, people?
Hey, guys. And on today's episode, we've got a special guest. We've got the new Ystad Rockets quarterback, Cameron Valardo, on the podcast. Welcome, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, boss. How are you doing? Or how are all you guys doing, I should say. There's three of you.
We good.
Yeah, I personally was rushing home just now, so I'm a bit all over the place, more energetic than usual, actually. So that may be a good thing. We'll see how long it lasts. Maybe the first 10 minutes or so, but we'll see.
Andre needs to give a good impression because he's going to be playing you this season.
Yes,
See,
I heard.
He lives 2 hours away from the train station, and he ran in 10 minutes. See?
I've never heard it.
No, I
Russian Celsius is on the dog, right?
I was expecting to be home about 10 minutes later than I actually got home, so I see it as a great success today.
Great success. Very nice.
But yeah, not only will Cam and I be playing against each other, I'll actually be trying to chase him down on opening day. So it's a
game one, toe to toe.
The drama in the podcast studio today.
It's getting hot in here. Is it just me?
No, I think Antoine is on the call. That's right. We're on camera. I forget we're on camera. This is the first video recording ever, I hope.
Yeah.
If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we had a nice 1 hour conversation with you, Cameron. See?
Listen, you could have chosen a lot prettier humans for your first video call, but I appreciate the love and effort.
See, our coach always used to say, "We're all beautiful in the eyes of God."
Listen, I couldn't agree more, and I'm also a big believer that big is sexy, so you know what? I'm really liking the left side of my screen right now.
Oh.
Me and OJ.
The camera is tilted. Too much weight on this side. So where did you start? When did you start playing football?
Jeez, I mean, I'm 25 right now. I'm in year 20 of my journey. Antoine would know.
I do the math,
North
right?
America, we start young. I mean,
Yeah.
I was 5 or 6. I might have been 4 playing flag. But
was the football
we
bigger
start
than you?
young and we play all year. I got my start in the east coast of Canada, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Pretty proud of where I'm from. We got some good ballers out there. We compete a lot with hockey. That's our big one. I mean, but a lot of great athletes. A lot of great athletes out of Halifax.
Nice. Yeah, man. So I know we talked about this a little bit off the pod, but we can go ahead and talk about it now that we're live. But how are you enjoying your time in Sweden thus far?
So far, it's awesome, man. I mean, everyone's really nice. Everyone's really friendly. Temperature-wise, it's not bad at all. I mean, everyone around here is complaining about how cold it is. I was expecting you guys to have thicker blood. I'm not going to lie. To me, this is normal. This is normal spring weather.
Just to let you in on a secret about Sweden here, Cameron. Complaining about the weather is a national pastime. Doesn't matter if we're in the middle of summer and we've got 30 degrees or if it's winter and it's 0 degrees. We're always complaining about the weather.
See, where I grew up in Halifax, we're known for having probably the most bipolar weather on the planet. We could wake up, it would be 30 degrees in the morning, and by the end of the day, it could be 2 degrees and raining. Like, it's just all over the place. So I've learned to not complain about weather, just because you never know how long you're going to have it for. But, I mean, that's funny that you call it your national pastime. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this. I spent the past 3 years on a contract in France, and it's their national pastime to complain about things as well, and they're proud of it.
Yeah. They show it too. Their thing is protest, so they'll be out on the street complaining.
Oh my God!
You
know what? They love it. They call it the birthplace of democracy and protest, and you know what? Good on them.
Yeah, we're a bit on the quieter side when it comes to complaining. We'll just complain to friends and family, and that'll be that, coworkers.
The older women will complain on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's a use word quiet. That's one thing I am noticing walking around the streets. Is like I would say I'm probably very extroverted and overtly friendly. I pass you on the street, I'm going to say good afternoon, good morning, hello. And most people here, I find, don't really respond. They just sort of give me a head nod and a half smile. The Swedes seem like very private people.
You live in the widest neighborhood in all of the South. Andre, he lives neighbors with Glasso.
That's
pretty wide. Go to the more immigrant signs, you will find they will invite you over for coffee if you want to. If you say hi, good enough.
Okay. Exciting.
You mentioned off air that your dad played in the CFL, so you grew up in a football league.
Yeah. So I mean, my dad is 2-3 times the athlete I'll ever be. He was a 2-sport All-Canadian. He was a heavyweight wrestler. He was the alternate in the Olympic team when they were in Seoul, and he was a CFL D lineman for. He went through training camp with the the Toronto Argonauts, and preseason, and they sent him back down. In Canada, they can own your rights and send you back down for another year of college. So they retained his rights, sent him back down for another year of college, and he actually ended up blowing out his knee in the youth sports, or CIS at that point, which is our NCAA national championship for wrestling. So that dual sport athlete, as much as it helped him be a great athlete, it ended up ending his football career.
Jeez.
But wrestling is tough. I don't know. I've been to one wrestling practice and I almost passed out.
Yeah, man. Like I've always said the best athletes in the world are combat sport athletes. I believe that they've just got a different level of dog in them than anybody else. And you look at those heavyweight wrestlers, their ability to just go hard for an extended period of time carrying that weight is their cardio is insane, their athleticism's insane. It's a different world.
Is that kind of how you found your way into boxing?
Sort of. I mean, I kind of wish my dad pushed wrestling on me. He never pushed it on me, so I never got into it. And then my sort of love for combat sports developed over time, sort of on my own views and on my own page, and I really enjoyed the striking aspect of things. So getting into boxing for me was something that I came back from France during the COVID year, and I said, this is something I want to do. It'll help me stay in shape. It'll keep my cardio up. So I found a really good coach in Halifax, and I just jumped right into it. I went for about a year and a half before I had my first fight, and I love it, man. I mean, I ended up dislocating my shoulder in France last season. Luckily not my throwing shoulder, my left shoulder. But that took me out of boxing for the in-between period of France and here, just because I didn't want to risk just throwing it out again. But it's something that when I'm done football, it'll be my next sport. That I don't know how many more fights I've got in me. Just again, I mean, I'm 25. I work in finance, so my head matters.
Yeah.
Taking those blows is not really what I want to do. But I think I got one or two more in me. And then obviously, I mean, I love sparring, just competing, man. Having any chance to compete. I always grew up as a team sport athlete. Football, hockey, lacrosse, basketball. These were all my sports growing up. So jumping into a solo sport where I didn't have to rely on anyone else and just relying on myself, it's something special, man.
That was I missed when I used to box also.
Oh, yeah.
I missed the team part of it. Because you only have to work on yourself. You have nobody else.
Yeah, Osaid's on an interesting line of thought there. How do you compare individual sports to team sports? Sort of your personality-wise, what do you prefer, and what are some strengths and weaknesses you see with both, Cameron?
I mean, I believe team sports are the pinnacle. Like that team mentality is really what I love. And when I eventually walk away from this game, what I'm going to miss the most is not dropping my shoulder for an extra yard to get that first down. It's going to be the beers in the locker room after the game.
I knew.
And I mean, I kind of translated being a team sport athlete and jumping into a solo sport like that. I transferred sort of my mentality into it. And I brought my friends into it. I brought my guys into it. So during my training camp, I had the same guys with me every day. So I really maintained kind of like a team sport athlete mentality of it. So as far as being a purely individual sport athlete, I don't really know what that mindset's like. I kind of wish I grew up a bit more in it, but I'm happy I didn't, because I think it's the team sport mentality shapes the person I am today. I'm very loud. I'm very outgoing. I'm a true definition of a extrovert. So, I think that's the benefit. I think real world benefits align more with team sport athletes. But as far as like a solo sport athlete, looking at it from an outside in, it's that dog, man. Like those solo sport athletes are dogs, especially combat sports. Like they just know how to dig deep and draw that out of them better than any other athlete, I find, anyways.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback off of that, because I was kind of like I did track and field growing up, and then that transitioned into college. So you're on the team, but 90% of all of your effort comes from yourself. So having that, and then transitioning that into a team sport is kind of like you're a little bit more. You know how to prepare yourself, and you know how to get there mentally. So at times you can be extroverted, but not necessary times, but at certain points you can be like, a little bit introvert, where you're a little bit more quiet, a little bit more focused, and stuff like that. So it's just a different mindset. But having both is good.
Yeah. I think your best athletes are able to harness both aspects. Like I think your best athletes are able to dig deep like that, like a solo sport athlete, and not rely on anyone else, but also understand the benefit and the necessity of teamwork.
Yeah. See, the thing I love with team sports is, especially football, I know I got at least 10 other dudes on the field. If shit goes like down, they're ready to swing with me. Like some teams, I was like, okay, if I get in a fight this game, I'm kind of screwed. But some games, I'm bulletproof. I got a sociopath linebacker who gonna kill somebody if they touch me. So that's the comfort part of it. But when
you got brothers, man.
Yeah, like how close you are. Even like I think you had a sparring partner. I did as well. Like he was a 35-year-old dude. I knew okay, come on.
You're not going to die for him. You're not going to defend you don't think he's going to defend your life and you're going to defend his?
Not really. Yeah, we close, but not both of us have separate goals. I don't feel like the team has a goal in combined. So I think that's the factor.
It's like the team sport is kind of looking over your shoulder and knowing, all right, if I don't do my job, I'm screwing over my boy here. And that's it holds you to a different level of accountability.
Isn't that a
That's what I love
thing?
about team sports. It's accountable. One thing that really bugged me about boxing was I would show up I'm a football guy. I'm a North American football guy. So Antoine, you know this. If you're not fucking early, you're late.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you're I don't know. I'm assuming you played college ball. I'm not sure where you played. But, no? Okay.
Nah.
But, if we weren't 15 minutes early to meetings, we were late and we were running for it. So I would show up I would show up for a 3 p.m. sparring session, but I'd be there at 2 so I could roll out, get loose, and just have the proper mentality of being early to be on time. And then my fucking sparring partner would show up at 4, and now I've rolled out, I've warmed up, and now I've sat on my ass for an hour waiting for this dude. And it's like, I found in the boxing community, or at least the boxing community I was privy to, was there was less accountability towards each other, and that really upset me in sort of the solo sport world. Like, yeah, sure, I'm sure he did what he needed to do to get ready, and he was accountable to himself, but he wasn't accountable to me, and that really fucking pissed me off. I'm like, when I show up to practice, I show up 15, 20 minutes early to make sure I'm accountable for my boys on the field, because we're about to go to war together. It's not just me going to war, it's my boys going to war with me, and that's what really drives me with football is it's the family and the accountability.
Worse, even if they don't show up.
Oh my god, man!
Because you never have their info. Like, you cannot just call them. Sometimes you don't know them that good. Like,
No.
the guy you're sparring with is not coming today. I'm like,
Great.
Because guess what? If I'm on a football field and my receivers don't show up, sweet, you kind of fucked everyone. But now you're not playing this week.
Yeah.
But still, on a football team, one practice, maybe you're missing 2 of your receivers, but hey, there are 2 more, and then you've got your running back and your offensive line. Yeah. So, like, there's still shit to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love boxing with a bag more than the next guy, but come on, you cannot do it the entire session. It's kind of boring after a while.
No.
So how did you end up where did you play in Canada? Like, take us through those years.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I started with 20 years ago. Started in Fall River Dragons minor football program from mites all the way up to Bantams. Bantam being like my freshman year of high school. I had the option to either go play high school or play Bantam one more year. I chose to play the Bantam year just because like I'd played with these guys my whole life and I wanted to do one more run, and we had a very good team. Then I went to, so at that time I'm going to high school, playing Bantam football. I was lucky enough, sort of based off in Canada we have provincial teams, so they're like all state teams, but we actually get together and we practice and we play across the country against other provincial teams. So, I mean, I'm playing minor ball, I'm playing provincial. I end up getting a scholarship to a prep school in Ontario, very good school called St. Andrew's College. So I reclassify, which means I redo grade 9. I spent 3 years at SAC, played some very high-level ball. I ended up playing for Team Canada. We went down, beat Team USA in Texas. That's a big one.
Was that the 2012 team? No, 2015?
No, that was... I want to say that was 2014. I've got a photo of my phone that always reminds me of the date. 2013. Yeah. 2013. So July 1st, 2013, Team Canada beat Team USA. 2019, that was the U16 team. So
okay, yeah.
In Austin, Texas, which was pretty special. Obviously,
did you almost get killed? Didn't
what?
Texas people kill you almost before that? They chased the bus back there with guns?
They were gracious losers. That Southern hospitality is real, man.
Yeah.
They took us out for barbecue and everything after. It was great.
Nice.
So, yeah, I played 3 years. I go grade 9, 10, and 11 at this prep school. I decided I want to come home for my senior year just because I had already sort of picked out my college. So I came home to Citadel High School, which is at that point was a top 10 ranked team in the country. We had a good year, won provincials, so we won all state, Division I. I was a Division I All-Star, team offensive MVP, team captain. It was a great year, man. Ended up committing to my sort of pipeline dream. I grew up in the city Halifax. The football team in Halifax is the St. Mary's Huskies. Legendary sort of historical program. I grew up watching a Heck Creighton winning quarterback. The Heck Creighton in Canada is the equivalent to the Heisman in the U.S., so it's the best college football player. We had one of those at St. Mary's, and I just remember from the time I was like 4, St. Mary's was where I wanted to play. And I mean, I did the work I needed to do to get there. I got my scholarship. I was lucky enough to get a full ride scholarship to go play at St. Mary's. I played for 3 years. I had 3 separate offense coordinators over those 3 years. The 4th year, I had a new offense coordinator, so now I'm my 4th OC in 4 years.
That's never a good
No.
thing.
Unfortunately, I was playing under sort of an environment that I wasn't happy with. I mean, the new OC was, in my opinion, not a good human being. He treated a lot of guys that he didn't like on the team very poorly. I remember specifically one time it was optional. I mean, optional doesn't mean optional in college football. But we had an optional
Voluntary
sort of QB
hours.
meeting. Yeah. And we had an optional sort of QB meeting to go over the new playbook. This is like 2 weeks before camp even starts. And we're on like day 4 of this optional thing. And like we're sitting in meetings for 6, 7, 8 hours a day. So we're on day 4 of 8-hour meetings, 2 weeks before camp even starts. And we got a kid who's a 2nd or 3rd year player at this point. Sort of came in as a quarterback, didn't really make it. He got bumped to receiver and was really trying to make the quarterback push again. And he was struggling with some personal things in his personal life, obviously. And him and his girl weren't in a great place, and they were fighting a lot. And there were some issues going on. And I remember he was a couple hours late to this meeting. That was optional. And like, as much as it's not optional, there needs to be some leeway. Like, we're not pro athletes at that point. We're still college, man. Like, we're all in summer courses. This is different. And like the coach is just ripping this guy, and not ripping him in a constructive like, hey man, you got to like personally attacking this dude. Just straight up actually bullying this guy, and he'd been doing it the whole time because he didn't like this guy. He didn't want him in the room, and he's bullying him all week, and I just fucking snapped, man. Like, and then obviously that created a big divide between me and the coach, and then the coach couldn't start doing it to me, and then I walked away from it. I said, like, this is not the experience I want to be in. Unfortunately, in my 4th year, I walked away from a program that I loved, and I still love to this day. I'm a dog for life. But it was just a work environment that was beyond toxic and just not healthy. And I'm a strong believer in hard coaching. I've got if you want to rip me out and force me to do shit, that's fine. Like, I am not shying away from hard coaching. When you make things personal and when you attack people personally, that I've got an issue with.
Yeah, I mean, you kill an entire environment if you it toxic. If you make it toxic, and it doesn't really matter what kind of situation you're in. Making something toxic, no matter if it's a job, the workplace, a relationship, team. It doesn't matter. It destroys everything you're trying to build within the squad. Exactly,
and I mean. It showed. That coach only lasted 1 more year. Or he only lasted 1 year. Yeah. He was fired. Like the other 3 OCs before him. Now, that being said, I was a big fan of 2 of those OCs. And even one of the OCs that I didn't get along with personally, he ran an amazing system, and I loved his work. And it's a system I install as a coach now. I coach high school football when I'm home, and I run his stuff. So, I mean, I had good personal relationships with 2 of the OCs, not a very good one with one of them, but I respected all 3, and I enjoyed working with all 3, and then this 4th one I didn't. So I walked away from football, and it was a really tough situation. I remember cleaning out my locker. I remember going and seeing the head coach, and the head coach trying to convince me to stay, and like, no, this is not the right move, and I was in tears, and it was one of the hardest decisions in my life. And I remember cleaning out my locker in tears, and then I ended up walking out of the hallway, and then one of my boys, Justin Julian, who was a DB, who's an absolute beauty and a baller, sort of met me in the hallway, and I think he just looked at me and understood what I was doing, came over and gave me a hug, and there was no word said. We just kept moving. And I'm walking home, and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ever going to play a snap of football again in my life. And feeling that anger that I allowed somebody to take that from me was hard. And then I'm not going to lie, I fell into quite a little bit of depression there for a couple months, hitting the partying a little bit more than I should, eating a lot. And then I sort of found the gym and I started powerlifting a lot. And I was getting into that pretty strong. And then I was lucky enough, I had already been on Euro Players, but I was lucky enough to receive a couple messages from a couple GFL 1 teams, GFL 2 team, an Austrian team. And then I was like, oh, shoot, I could still play. Like, there's people out there that want me to come. So none of those really pan out. I mean, most of your Euro player messages end up in just somebody else being signed or they're fading away. But one team really stuck with me, and that was Toulouse in France. And at that point, they were a Division II team in France, and they were one of the better Division II teams. So I sign, and I go, and I love it. I fall in love with the sport again. I haven't been this happy playing football since high school. Because, I mean, high school football is, those Friday Night Light games in high school football are the most fun you'll ever have playing football. I don't care what anybody says. There's nothing like football in high school. And I'm starting to feel the love for the game again that way in France. I'm like, fuck, I love this. I'm so happy I came.
That's awesome.
And then COVID hit.
Oh.
And I'm just like, and the funny thing was, like, I've been with my girlfriend now for going on 5 years. So she came in that first year. And she came in February. And it was Valentine's Day. So we went to Milan. And we're in Milan for Valentine's Day, not knowing it's Fashion Week. So we're walking around Milan, and it's busy. And then this news starts going around, like, oh, maybe we should get out of Milan. We were only there for 2 or 3 days. And on our way out, like, they're scanning our foreheads with the temperature readers. I was like, what the fuck's going on? So I get back to Toulouse, and the outbreak of COVID, I don't know if you guys remember this, happened in Milan, the big outbreak.
Yeah, the big one in Europe was in northern Italy.
We were like, oh, shit, we're in Milan. And like, luckily, neither one of us got COVID then. I mean, I've had it 2 times since, but so the season gets cut, and I go home. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, they just canceled the entire season in France. They never replayed it.
Canceled it. We're 4 games in, they cancel it. I was lucky enough, though, that the team had made the commitment, like, all right, you're coming back with us next year. I said, all right, perfect. So I'm not too worried. I go home. I'm training well. And then I'm signed. I'm ready to go. My planes are booked. 24 hours before I'm supposed to leave to go back to France this next season, they canceled the season.
They canceled it twice?
Yeah.
Damn. They never resumed a season in 2020 at all? 2021 at all?
No, last year was their first year back since COVID.
Wow, so they just didn't play for 2 full years.
A year and a half, yeah.
The only places that played were Finland and Sweden.
Yeah. So it was just like, shit. Like, now I'm 23, going on 24. I've got a good job working in finance. What am I doing? And then they called me. They're like, hey, man, let's make this push. We're now in the French Elite Division. We got moved up. The French Elite Division is one of the best divisions in Europe. I mean, they've got some real ballers, real good teams over there. Like, you got Tonon Lebon, the Black Panthers. You got the Flash. You got Marseille. Like, there's some ballers in France, man. I was like, all right.
There are a few teams there that are among the best in Europe.
Yeah. I was like, all right, I'm going. Let's go. We're French Elite. First year in French Elite, we make playoffs. We have a really good year. And then after the season, sort of split ways with the head coach. The team does. The head coach is the guy that recruited me, obviously. The new OC and head coach want to run sort of a triple option, speed option sort of offense. That's not my vibe. I'm a big boy. I like to sit in the pocket. I like to throw the ball.
It's a sitting duck I'll be chasing this year.
I'm deceptively athletic, we'll say. I still run about a 5-flat 40. I'm not speedy by any definition of the word, but I'm not slow.
Are you trying to say that the third fastest person on this podcast?
Third?
No, I think I'm pretty sure you're second, Cameron.
I'm gonna hope for my sake, anyways, that I'm second fastest man on this podcast right now.
Osaid and I had a 40-yard dash. No, Osaid won by like one body length, but I think the difference was like a tenth or 2/10 of a second. So like,
I got a bad start. I did not even run full speed.
sure.
You're my next victim, Cameron. I'll
Hey,
be right.
don't worry, we're gonna.
All right, let's
we're
do
gonna
it,
run,
man.
We're
Hey,
gonna run
strap
back
up
that
one
40
more
this
year. Why
year.
not, right?
Yeah.
I live far away from it. I will be coming to one of your practices one day, and let's
All
run.
right. All right, do it there.
Gotta film it. Gotta post it.
We need content for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, and then I mean, this year I found my way to Ystad. These guys reached out. We Christian Soldier,
yeah.
we were doing something special.
It was Glasnovic who reached out to you, right?
Yeah. He reached out. He sold it as they were doing something special. We're making a push for some rings this year. So, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. I mean, Christian sold it well. We got some unreleased news coming out in the next couple of days. It's going to be really exciting.
You want to
So
share
keep your
with
eyes.
us? You want to share with us first?
I can't share too much, but keep your eyes on the Twitter or Facebook or Instagram page the next couple of days.
Got it.
We got some pretty exciting news. I mean,
Is it your promise agreement with Örebro? Because
No, that's already been announced
Yeah.
Agreement with
That's been
Örebro.
announced. Yeah.
a long time ago.
no, we're looking like we're doing some special things, man, and we're really making a push for that championship this year. I mean, we're coming for everyone's throats.
Nice.
Ystad last year, they were literally let's see, a Limham made extra point away from being first in the South last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, you take that team. I'm pretty sure we're returning like almost everyone, and then we added the Jaguars. You add a North American import, and you add something else coming up in the next couple of days. That's going to be very
you
exciting.
add the number 3 running back in Europe,
And yeah, I mean, who's that? Timmy?
Alex Channing.
Alex Channing. Okay. Oh yeah. So I mean,
Timmy is the best running back in Division 1. It's not even close.
yeah, Timmy's a monster, man.
He's
Timmy's a
really
monster.
good.
The second good running back is now a social media promoter, like a club promoter, DJ promoter, and nothing. So
So I mean, Ystad's going to be the Rockets are a team to keep your eyes on this year. I mean, we're just looking to go win that ring, and then continue moving in the right direction.
Nice. So, with you kind of being away from the game for so long and then coming back into the game, and like you said now, like you have a good job in finance, you're 25, which is still young to me, but how many years do you think you got left in the tank playing this game, man?
I think this is my last year. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
Okay.
I'm looking to buy a house when I go home in September.
Yeah.
Or when I go home in July, sorry. I've said I've done a couple interviews now and a couple news articles where I've said I see hole 19. To me, this is probably my last ride. I mean, if we lose on some traumatic bullshit last play of the finals,
Yeah.
I could see myself being compelled to come back.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I'm happy I picked this squad. I think I picked a squad that's in the right position to make a push for a ring. I picked a squad with a lot of really good dudes, so I'm really enjoying my time so far.
they know how to
I
have
see
fun.
I see this being my year as sort of let's go out on top, and then I coach high school football, so I play in the men's senior touch league. I'll scratch my itch other ways, but this is probably my last year beating the shit out of my body.
Yeah. And, how was it kind of coming to that conclusion where it's just like, listen, like you said, this is your 20th season playing this game, so it's like you invested so much of your life, your childhood, your teenage years, your adulthood is connected to this game, and even though you're going to be around it in other aspects, like how tough was it to do this to actually like
We
my
couldn't
last
hear you
year?
downtown.
I got the vibe of the question. You kind of cut out there, but you're sort of asking how tough it was coming to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Honestly, it wasn't as hard. I mean, I already know that it's gonna be a tear show stepping off the field for the last time. I'm not concerned about the end of it. I know it's gonna be hard to walk away, but coming to this decision so far has been pretty easy because I have a plan set for it, man. Like, I'm buying a house. It's time to be an adult. I've got the good job. I sort of know where I'm going with my life. So making the decision to make this my last season has not been hard. But there's going to be some demons through this tunnel. Like, we're not going through the tunnel of love here, boys. Like, there's going to be some hard days. And there's going to be some hard moments this season. Personally, just sort of the last time doing everything.
I mean, you chose a really interesting situation to get yourself into because Ystad, they've really taken a step up. Last year, they started taking that step, and you're going into a really interesting series. We've got an AAK squad that's building things up, a Limham squad that's been really quiet in the preseason, but they're always good. We've got some things going on in Kristianstad that I'm very happy about. Not so sure what's going on. Not really. Not so sure what's going on in Gothenburg and Karlskoga at the moment, but I know the Wolves have a few import guys coming in, so there's a lot of shit going down in the series, and it's going to be competitive, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, the Wolves are confusing me. I'm not going to lie. They signed 2 import tight ends. I mean, this is.
They had a good tight end.
Yeah, so they've got 3 good tight ends now. Like, so we're just going to.
Let's go 13 personnel, Karlskoga. We're going dive right, dive left, stretch right. Let's go.
Yeah, and I know one of those tight ends is a Canadian.
Yeah.
He played at Mac. From what I've seen, he's pretty good. So I'm excited to meet up with him. Sorry?
Not your cousin or neighbor?
No, not my cousin or neighbor. I don't know if you know this. Canada's a pretty big country.
Big country. Cameron, do you wanna explain to Oside how long it takes to drive from Halifax to Vancouver?
I'm lucky enough to never done that drive, but that's a couple day drive. I mean, we're talking about the second largest country in the world, boys.
Yeah.
I know there's a train in Moscow that is 36 hours.
1 second.
I know there's a train in Russia that takes 36 hours to arrive.
That's a ride. 36 hours. Ugh.
Imagine going from the first to last station there.
I've been in a 12-hour train ride, and sleeping on a train is top 10 worst experiences of my life.
Yeah,
I've been in war. I've been in war, and that sleeping train ride was worse.
So it takes approximately 2 days and 14 hours to drive from Halifax to Vancouver.
In one go?
In one go.
I don't know.
That's just sort of what Google says. I've never attempted it.
Yeah.
But it's like an 8-hour flight.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I get to Europe faster than I get to Vancouver.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, the east coast of Canada isn't too far from like the UK or France.
I understand.
It's pretty
why
close.
The Grizzlies left the Vancouver now.
Yeah. Vancouver.
I think it's like a 5-hour flight, Halifax to London.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I've taken London to Dallas. I think is about 8 hours, so I can imagine 7 or 8. Yeah, Halifax 5. Yeah, that works out.
Yeah.
Talking about big things, do you think bigger quarterbacks are getting treated like shit? Because if a D tackle karate kicks you, no issue. But if you were a small QB, if they sneeze on you, it's like roughing the passer.
Well, luckily enough, I've never been karate kicked on the football field.
I think I can say that I have. Maybe not karate kick, but someone has tried to kick me on the field.
The big quarterback thing is something I've learned to become proud of. I mean, I've always been thicker. My dad was a D lineman, a heavyweight wrestler. I've got a knack for powerlifting. Like I'm 6', 250, and I'm pretty built. I mean, I've got a little bit of a belly on me, but anybody my size would. Anybody my size who's clean would. I know there's a lot of guys who are my size, 6', 250, who aren't clean, and they've got washboard abs. That's not me.
What are you
It's got
saying
its
about
advantages and its disadvantages. I mean, I'm not running around anyone. I'm not I'm not going over anyone. I'm not going around anyone. I'm going through people.
Nice.
That's how I play the game. I run the ball hard. I throw the ball far. I use my brain. I try not to scramble. But if I do need to scramble, it's not an issue. One thing I will say, though, and I'm pretty proud of this, because it is something that's always been on my back throughout my entire career, is I think big body quarterbacks have to work that much harder just to get a shot. I mean, if there's one thing that pisses me off, it's the eye test. The eye test, and anybody who bases the decision off the eye test can fuck off. And this is something I'm really strongly passionate about. The eye test doesn't tell you who can ball.
No, not at all.
Just because somebody looks good in uniform, or just because somebody's the proper build, does not mean they know how to play the position.
Not at all. We've had a guest on the podcast before, Victor, who used to play for Arlanda. Quarterback. I think he's probably heavier than you, and he's been one of the very best quarterbacks in Sweden for quite a few years now.
My man loves a good hurdle. He loves a hurdle.
Quite the athlete for that size, yeah.
Listen, a lot of us are more athletic than we look.
Yeah.
But
as a chubby athlete, I back that fact up.
The eye test is something that's rooted in sports politics, and it's something I've got a major problem with. So I believe that quarterbacks of my build, or bigger than me, or just any similar build what I have to work that much harder to get their shot. So I believe that if you see a big-bodied quarterback out there slinging the rock, that he's probably better than most because he had to be just to get that shot.
The height thing I understand, because if you're 5'11", like Kyler Murray can barely see over his left tackle. Like I could buy that, but weight, like on a quarterback, I don't really see it. Like if he can move, yeah, might be injury prone thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean even the height thing, like Drew Brees was 5'10". Flutie was 5'9". Like,
I'm pretty sure Drew Brees was listed as 6 foot, but he probably wasn't quite 6 foot.
6 foot in cleats and a helmet.
On a good day.
I'd probably give him 5'11", though. I'd give him 5'11".
But I mean, if you look through the history of football, you have more successful quarterbacks between the range of 5'9" and 6 foot than you do over 6'5". I mean, how many Giants have you seen in the NFL?
Yeah, isn't it something about there's like never been a really successful quarterback who's 6'7" or taller?
Yeah, it's like 6'6" or taller. I mean, like 6'5" is pretty normal.
Yeah, quite a few 6'5" guys, and 6'3",
like 6'6" and higher. You never really see any real success out of them, like the Brock Osweilers or the Paxton Lynches.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, obviously these guys are
hilariously enough, both drafted by the Broncos.
Yes, and again, both football players are better than I am. So I mean, no disrespect in that.
Of course not.
Going off of the results of
Big
their
Ben
career.
and Cam Newton of the world.
Both of them were what, 6'5"?
I think they're both listed at 6'5". Maybe one of them is listed at 6'6". I'm not sure.
How players in college, th'ey're listed at like 6'6", 250. Comes to NFL, 6'4" and a half.
Yeah.
Like when the NBA did the measures without shoes.
Yeah.
They became midgets. Yeah, Antoine cut out.
Yeah, if anyone is watching and wondering what's going on, I think Antoine's internet cut out or something.
He's back.
Hey, he's back. Hey, Antoine.
Yeah,
go.
I was just about to write in the group. Yeah, the internet went out there for a minute.
Oh, yeah, bummer.
Yeah, but everybody looks clear this time around. So I think it worked out.
Didn't one journalist say like the dumbest thing in sport is like pre-draft when they look at guys walking around in underwears and trying to figure out if they can play football or not?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the combines are everything there. They're sham events, except for the interview and the health checkup. Like that's the only things that matter at the combines in any sport, really.
I was watching Ryan Leaf the other day, and I think it was Good Morning Football, or it was one of the football shows. And Ryan Leaf was talking about, like, he did a combine, or he did all the combine testing the other day, and he's still testing in what we would consider a first-round quarterback range. So he was saying, like, none of this shit matters, because if you want to look at all of my combine stats, and then we go blind draft pick, where we take my college stats plus my combine results plus CJ Stroud's combine results and his college stats, and you would go, oh, I'll take this guy because he's 6'4", 230 pounds. He bench presses it 25 times. He's got good college stats. He runs this. And then you reveal the blank cards. And like, oh, shit, I got Ryan Lee. Like, none of it matters.
He already flamed out.
Exactly. So I agree. Like, the measurables, don't get me wrong, they're important.
yeah.
But what they more show is your ability to. I think measurables show durability more than ability.
They need to do that baseball thing, like your throwing speed if you're a quarterback. How hard can you throw it?
I've got no idea. I've never
We
tested
did the Tua of the world who can barely throw a fade. He can probably.
Sorry, say that again?
Tua can throw a fade.
Oh, yeah. Again, a better football player than I, but going.
He will destroy
watching
you
him-
in one-on-one in every position.
But no, I've never tested. I know I've never tested how hard I can throw the ball. I know how far I can throw it. I can push a ball about 70 yards out of pads. So I mean, you
Big
put me
arm.
in a game situation in pads, I could probably push the ball 65 to 68.
That's not bad. Are we gonna have to sit in cover 4 against you, Cameron?
You can sit and cover 4 all you want, and I'll throw the ball 6 yards all day.
Naturally,
Marcus
naturally,
throw 80 yards on his knees.
something like that.
Yeah,
Something like that,
something
yeah.
crazy like that.
Ridiculous,
But again, it shows-
utterly
it shows-
ridiculous.
It just shows that impressive stats or impressive feats of strength mean nothing as far as ability of playing football goes.
Yeah,
But you came in a program that's perfect made for you because their former quarterback. We made jokes on the podcast that's your little brother or something because you look like.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's the big body jokes. And Hugo's a good dude. I've had the chance to work with him now, and I mean, my goal is to come here. I mean, I was joking the other day. I asked Christian sort of, what's Hugo? Is Hugo okay with me being here? And Christian goes, yeah. I go, okay, good, because I don't like to share. I'm QB1 right now. I'll pass down all the knowledge I have, and it's my goal to make Hugo as good as possible for you next year. But I don't fucking share.
I like that
And
mentality.
listen, Hugo's a great dude.
That's
He's
fair
got a
enough.
big arm. Hugo's a great dude with a big arm. He's got a good-sized frame. He just, once we get that we increase that knowledge on him, I think he'll be a force to reckon with in this league for the next decade.
Oh yeah, I mean he was a bit up and down last year, but when he had his good moments, like he had a run against Helsingborg where he just ran over like 3 dudes and juked one and scored
He's a monster.
40-yard touchdown. It's like, damn, dude, you can play when things are going your way.
Yeah. No, listen. That's the thing. Hugo's a monster, and he has all the tools to dominate this league. And it's going to be my goal this year to help him hone those tools to become that consistent monster.
And you have Casper. Just throw anywhere. He probably comes down with it.
Listen, I got Casper, I got Marcus, I got Mateus. I got boys. I
It's
got
a-
Timmy
it-
coming out of the backfield. We got ballers down here in
You got the
Ystad.
number one.
I wouldn't throw too many passes to Timmy, but you've got some ballers there to throw the ball to. You really do.
Listen, I can throw the ball to Timmy on a bubble, and then he'll just eat anybody in space.
That you can do.
And you got the number one cornerback, Philip Udema.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Our man.
Our man. Top 10 favorite people of all time.
So you've got the season opener. We've got the season opener coming up in about 3 weeks here. How do you feel about the situation going in? You've been here a few weeks now, I think. How long have you
I've
been
been
here?
here for about a week.
You've been here about a week, so
Yeah.
you're gonna have been here for about a month before you play your first game. After a week of being with the team and starting to feel things out, do you have any expectations going into the season here? And what are you expecting to see from the different teams and from your own team?
I'm feeling good, man. Like, I like the team we put together. I like our system. They've let me install a couple of my plays too, so it's grounding me in that sense that I have plays that I know inside and out, sort of to fall back on. I like the talent we have on our roster. I like the work ethic of the guys that when they're at practice, we're working hard. I'm expecting big things. I can't say what I expect out of Predators because I haven't seen the Predators this year. I saw you guys film last year.
Hey, that's nothing to look at. That was
Exactly. So, I mean, listen, I'm excited. I'm respectful. I strongly believe that you fear no man, but you respect everyone.
Mm-hmm.
well
You guys
said.
have ballers. You guys are going to show up ready to play, and we're going to show up ready to play, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the best team will win on the day. That's what I believe.
Is this going to be your first Friday night game since high school?
Oh, yeah. In college, we played on Saturdays or the odd Sunday. I don't think I had any Friday games in France, so I'm excited for Good Friday Night Lights. Are we going to get a crowd? What kind of crowds are we expecting here?
Swedish crowds are normally not very good, but we might
Cousins and two friends.
we might get a few people from the south coming in. You'll probably get the Limham people coming down for some scouting, and we'll get some people, but it's not going to be a good crowd.
It's not a crowd. Don't get yourself excited.
But you'll immediately get to walk into the nicest looking football arena in Sweden. I'll tell you that.
For sure.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Well, hey, no, I take that back. Costa, we have the new arena, but the Predators, they got a nice field. I saw like
Oh, yeah?
little pictures from Instagram and like videos. I was like, "Ooh, that's nice."
Just the entire stadium is pretty newly built, and it looks pretty nice. And we've got big locker rooms. Even the guest locker rooms are pretty nice for you guys. So.
It's not because of us. The women's soccer team plays in the Champions League. It's not because of the.
But hey! Our Predators men's team, we got the biggest locker room in the arena, so we got something out of it.
Yeah. No, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what you guys got. I got to play in some pretty cool big stadiums in France. I mean, when we were in Grenoble last year, we showed up to a 30,000 seat stadium. We put it was the game of the week. It was a nationally televised game. So there was I don't know how many people were watching. I heard it was a lot of people watching, but there was like 5,000 to 8,000 people in the stadium for the game.
Yeah,
Put
not
a
anything like that here.
smackdown on them. It was a good game. I think I threw 4, ran for 1.
Nice.
I think I threw 3 of my 4 to 1 receiver. But
If your performance is based on the amount of crowds,
You're gonna be terrible in Sweden, man. You're gonna be terrible here.
I was in Malmo. I was in Malmo on the weekend. I saw Limham Stadium. That's a nice little stadium.
it's the ugliest stadium. Like
It's just concrete. It's just concrete, man.
It's got seats, don't it?
barely. It's
got seats. I mean, I'll give them credit. It's nicer than Gothenburg's.
Gothenburg, you're gonna hate your life. It's concrete with a carpet on it with some sand on it.
Yeah.
Do you know if you guys have a road game in Gothenburg this year?
I'll check 1 sec.
Because no, among the teams from the south, or they're not really in the south, but they played in the Southern Division. They probably got the worst field conditions right now.
Yeah, my last game of the regular season's at Gothenburg. They come to us earlier in the year, and then we go to them.
Okay.
You know, in science rooms they have the thing. If you get something in your eye, you can wash your eyes.
Yeah.
They need to install one on the sideline in Gothenburg. It's that bad.
Hey, Cameron is going to get there towards the end of the season now after having this discussion and think, oh, this isn't that bad after all the shit we've said about it.
Listen, I mean, I played on one field last year in Montpellier, which was the worst field I've ever played on. There was a, like when you're driving down the street and like a manhole cover?
Yeah.
They had one of those, a bit smaller, but they had a drain cover, manhole cover, in the middle of the fucking field.
Yeah, I've seen that at a few fields too. Yeah, terrible.
I was like, how is this safe?
It's not. It's not.
And
it's terrible.
The game hadn't started yet. It was a mud pit. It rained like 3 days before, and the field sank in like this. Like it was the opposite of what it was supposed to be, and it just retained all the water.
Aside that sounds a lot like Ekeby.
I don't have a lot of memories of Ekeby. But
all right, you haven't played when
I know
in Ekeby when it's been rainy.
In this area where it's it's crooked, so running one way goes always faster than the other way.
Wait, what field is that?
The old Karlsson field. It's literally like this.
Oh, the old Karlsson. Okay,
I think the coaches knew, like in the fourth quarter, we want this side. It's an uphill battle, literally uphill.
That's almost too good.
Thank God I haven't played there. I'm spoiled. Like I smelled wet grass today. I'm like, oh shit. How do people practice on grass?
That's
14.
like,
yeah.
That's
it's raining here right now, and we got practice in about 3 hours. Luckily, we practice on our turf.
You got an indoor.
Oh, are you guys in Skilrup on the indoor turf there?
We do use that, but in Ystad, all the grass fields are closed right now, so we're going to be using the turf. That
okay. The
our soccer team plays on. Our Division 5 or 6 soccer team.
Okay, that makes sense.
Retiring after this season. You know how the import thing goes, right? They always say, I'm here for only 1 year or 2 years. Look Antoine. He married the Swedish... No, he's not an import.
I'm not an import. That's that rumor. I'm not an import, man.
Everyone thinks you're an import, Antoine, but you're just not.
I'm just not an import, guys.
Well, the import thing, they say, I'm here for 1 year, 2 years... Buddy, I think you're going to get a job here in Sweden. You're going to play for Ystad at least 4 more years.
I don't want to pay your guys' taxes,
4 more years.
You don't have to say it that way. Come on. It's not that high in Ystad. It's higher here in Karlsson.
No, but your tax brackets start lower. Like, I was talking to somebody who was saying, like, I was like, well, what's it like living here? He goes, well, I mean, everybody works hard until they make about $30,000. And then after $30,000, they just say no thank you and they go to Thailand because the government takes all their money.
If you get paid more than 50,000 crowns a month, you're screwed.
No, I mean, that's not really how it works. It's a...
No, but they take half of everything over 50.
Yeah, so it's a progressive tax system as well, but most people pay around 30%, which is a lot higher than other parts of the world. But then, as the site says, when you get to a certain bracket, you'll start paying 50% on the rest.
Yeah, it's the same as Canada, but I mean, I'm not at risk of of marrying a Swedish girl. I've been with my girlfriend now for 5 years,
Yeah.
and she's coming over in a couple months.
Nice.
But I've got my job in Halifax. I'm happy. This is like my vacation.
The 3-month Swedish football season vacation. I like it.
Exactly.
So you
Wait,
you
do you use it? You
Go
can
ahead.
go on.
No, go ahead. I was asking.
Do you use it like a literal vacation? You tell them like, yeah, I'm going on vacation. Bye.
Well, I mean, I work a commission job, so I work in sales. I'm a financial advisor, wealth specialist, and insurance broker.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm lucky enough to be in a company that enjoys employing me and enjoys what I do.
Are you
And
sure
I
your
enjoy
boss is
doing
not
it.
just afraid of you?
Sorry?
Are you sure your boss is not just afraid of you?
No, I'm sure he's not afraid of me. Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have the life I have. I mean, I've lived a very blessed life. I continue to live a very blessed life. But it's time to be an adult. It's time to go home.
Yeah.
Stop playing football.
He says as he's entering a new football season in a new country and a completely
Exactly.
new situation.
One last ride. It's one last ride.
That's
So,
awesome, man.
Yeah, so scrolling through your Instagram before we started the interview, I messaged this guy and I was like, Cameron looks like a fun dude. So you look like a very much like a Saturday he's up for the boys type of guy. Like you look like you enjoy a beer, watching the game, throwing something on the grill. So outside of football, what are some of the things that you like to get into?
Listen, I'm the size that I am because I've always said my O-line loves me because I lift with my O-line, I eat with my O-line, and I drink with my O-line.
Nice.
I mean, you described it perfectly. Saturdays for me that's my fun time. We get after it. I come from a very drinking heavy culture. The place I grew up in, Halifax. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but this is always the story we were told growing up was Halifax has more bars per square foot than any other city in the world. So again, don't know if that's accurate, but I can attest to the fact that we have more bars than I've ever been to.
More bars per square foot than any in the world.
Yeah.
I think
So again,
Ireland might
that's
be
just-
competing with you guys.
Sorry?
Ireland might be competing with you guys.
No, we put Ireland to shame.
You don't think there's some small hick Irish town that'll have like 20 bars?
No, they have two really fucking good ones.
Or maybe you know what the strip in Nashville might be able to compete.
We have a strip in Halifax too.
Okay. Nice.
Or it might be per capita. Whatever it is, it's like
It's a lot.
You guys-
this is
winning.
what we were always told growing up. I come from a city of 500,000 people.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. Like off the field, I enjoy getting after it, but I also just enjoy chilling out, right? Like
Yeah.
I try, like in my college days, I was a couple times a week. I'm not like that anymore. I try to really limit it to once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
After Christmas, I went sober until right before leaving. So, but no, I enjoy my social life.
Can we
Absolutely.
discuss this? If you drink on a Wednesday, you're an alcoholic. But if you're in college, that's normal.
Yeah, man.
If you drink on a Wednesday
listen.
afternoon, you're alcoholic. But if you're in college, that's a party. Like, what the heck?
I think if you can go through a successful detox and not crave alcohol, you're not an alcoholic. So if you could drink 6 days in a week for 3 months in a row. But then if you take 2 months off and you've got no issues, to me, you're not an alcoholic. You just like to party.
Yeah.
Is that your test?
Sorry?
Is that your test? Like, yeah, I haven't drank in 2 months. Let's go back, boys.
That's what I did. I mean, I'm not out here drinking 3 times a week, but yeah. I mean, I try to limit myself to once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. But I know I can go a couple months without drinking. That's how I know I'm safe.
Nice.
Awesome.
Right, you-
Yeah,
Beer in Sweden is expensive.
it's good to know that you're not addicted to that stuff, especially here because it gets really expensive in Sweden.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I mean, I used to love beer. Trying to get off beer because beer makes you fat. So I've been drinking vodka soda, vodka waters for the past little bit. And I show up here, and then it's like 100 chrono for vodka soda or some shit.
Oh,
So what is
drinking
this?
bars are expensive. Like they rob you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. Boys, how are we supposed to have a good time and stay healthy?
No, Cameron, this is what the people do. They'll go to Germany, buy a shitload of alcohol, bring it back to Sweden, then they have big house parties. That's how you have
I'm a house party guy.
That's how you have a good party in Sweden.
That's my vibe. I'm a house party guy.
See, I'm allowed to say this now because Josh is not. Me and our former head coach and one player drove to Germany, bought too much alcohol for normal consumption, and drove back. Same day. We broke records on that one. We came to Limhamn to Malmo in half an hour.
Nice. Out here trying to party. I'm living like.
By the way, I don't drink. I do not condone drinking.
What? You don't drink, girl? But you condone drinking.
I'm a man of faith. It's Ramadan soon too, man.
Yeah, I know, but you can't. You gotta condone drinking. Come on, man.
It's not halal.
No. How do we end video chats like podcasts?
Oh, hey, wait. You guys forgot it with our last guest, or didn't forget it. You actually mentioned it, but he had to run. Before we leave you, Cameron, we have a few questions that we like to ask all of our guests. They're fun for some comparisons between getting different answers for different guests.
Okay.
But I'll shoot the first one here. What is your favorite football concept? And this can be anything. It can be a pass concept, a specific run play. It can be a blitz or a stunt on defense. But I'm guessing since you're a quarterback, you might not go with a defensive concept.
I love RPOs. I mean, they're my favorite thing in the world. So, I mean, it works better in Canadian ball than it does American ball because we have forward motion. But I'll run an RPO. I call it iris, which is an inside zone away from a three-man receiver. And we'll just run hitches behind and we replace the backer. So if the backer steps down, we just dump it. And listen, I'll run iris the full way down the field because we'll just play numbers. If we get 5 in the box, then we're giving the ball off. If we get a 6-man coming into the box, an easy dump for 6 to 8.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad shout. Like you're gonna have to start bringing people all the way down if you're gonna stop that, and then you got the shot over the top instead.
Yep.
Should we throw in Antoine's question too? From his own podcast.
Oh, like when did you fall in love with American football? Well, he's been playing for 20 seasons, so I would say probably, and he watched his dad play in the CFL. So probably like 4. I'm gonna guess. 4 or 5.
Yeah, I was about 4. I mean, I never saw my dad play in the CFL. He, like I said, they retained his rights, sent him back down to college. He blew his knee out. But I grew up in a football household, so I was a very young age when I fell in love with it.
Nice.
Is it my turn to guess now?
Yes, it's your turn.
Very professional podcast.
Listen, you don't have the questions on you offside? Come on.
Can we just raise our hand like, hey, is it my turn to go now?
What's your favorite football uniform?
Ooh, the Patriots Reds. Those classic red jerseys the Pats wear, those are the best uniforms in the NFL.
The ones with Pat the Patriot on the hat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the white helmet. Not the silver, the white helmet with Pat the Patriot in the all-white jersey. Like what? I remember when I think the Pats were wearing that when they beat the crap out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Brady and Moss in the snow game.
the 84 point, like 50 something points.
Yeah, like those jerseys are just pristine. That I mean, like if I'm not gonna have that, it's an all black. Because I mean, A, black is slimming; it makes the big boy look smaller, and B, it's sexy, right?
Okay, next question will offend people. What is the most skillful position in football?
Most skillful? I got a hot take. I got a really hot take. Left tackle, and here's why. Offensive line, and you know what? No, just the offensive line in general. Because, and this is why. Offensive line is the only position in all of sports where you are expected to dominate a more athletic human every single time you're face to face. And if you don't beat them, if you get beat once, you're a bum. Think about basketball. Nobody in the world is surprised when a more athletic guy dunks on your head. It's like, ah, shit, that guy's a monster. It is what it is. Nobody's surprised when Randy Moss just torches some second-level corner or a safety. No one's surprised when Connor McDavid just makes everyone else look dumb out on the ice. But when a guy who's making 3 times the amount of money you are, he is twice to 3 times the athlete you are, beats you 1 time in a game, you're a bum. So to me, the most skillful position or position group in football, and I know it's a hot take, is the offensive line.
No, I don't. I don't think it's a hot take at all. I think we had one guy not too long ago who said center. So
That's a bullshit call.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it to center. You can hide a bad center. You can't hide a bad tackle.
No, thank God you have Pun, your left tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a really good one.
Second part, what is the least skillful position in football? Now it's the hot take.
Yeah, this is a hot take right here.
There's a hot take. As far as like football skill goes, I'm gonna go running back, mainly because it's the most natural position on a field. I mean, like when we watch 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds play football, they just run around with the ball, right? It's the most natural thing to do: run away from people, avoid contact. I mean, to be a good running back is very hard, and I mean no disrespect. To be a good running back is very hard. But I think if you were to take an average human off the street in some charity form of football and put them on the field to get them the ball, you put them at running back. Because you just hand the ball and say run.
Yeah.
Here, boy, go.
Actually, that's probably one of the best answers we got, I think.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Thought about it that way. Like, just give him the ball and run.
I don't know why I had a feeling in my gut. I was like, oh, he's probably going to say receiver. I just had to,
you can't say that about your receivers as a quarterback.
I just had a feel. I was like, man, he's going to say receiver. But he didn't. I was like, whew. So when he said running back, I was like, okay, all right, we're good.
Yeah, to me, it's either a running back or an interior D lineman.
Come on, man. Don't do them like. I know I'm retired, but come on.
Okay, next question. I have a sneaking suspicion of what you're going to say here, but we'll see. What is your favorite position in football, but you're not allowed to say your own?
Oh, I love. See, I got 2. I love a good power back, like just like a true like Garrett Blunt style power back, or like a John Lynch strong safety. I like hard-nosed football.
So if you were to play a different position, you'd go either as like, I want to go in as a power back, or as like a box safety.
I'm Mike Allstotting it. That, or I'd be a box safety. Don't put me out in coverage.
Awesome.
You get ahead, like a run ahead start. Then you see a poor 5'11" running back, skinny shit running. Blow his shit up. Nothing against skinny 5'11" running backs. So, two-part question here again. who's the best player you ever played against, and which is the best team you ever played against? Like a DB who like gave you the most headache. I'm like, what can I do against this guy?
Or a
linebacker.
or a defensive lineman who just gave you hell every play.
No. It's best guy I've ever played with. I did a camp with Scotty Miller, receiver for the Bucks, but I also played high school football with Peter Godber, who's I think he's a 5-year vet in the CFL now, starting lineman. I played with some very good receivers as well. Guys I've played against a lot of CFL guys. So to put a name on one of them would be tough. I'll say the most dominant situation I played against a guy was I played against a guy named Deshaun Stevens in the Canada Cup. So the Canada Cup is our U18 national championship in Canada for all those provincial teams. And Deshaun I played with on Team Canada in Texas, but then 2 years later I played against him when he was on Team Ontario. I was on Team Nova Scotia. He was a linebacker who just changed games. And he was a Canadian who went to Maine. He went to University of Maine for 4 years, graduated, and went to West Virginia. Played a year at West Virginia. He was on Mel Kiper's top 100 to watch. So he was pretty insane. Best team I ever played against would be either Toronto Leblanc last year was really good. But no, I mean, as far as dominance in their age, growing up against those Team Quebec teams in the Canada Cup and national tournaments, Team Quebec was always really good.
So here in Europe is the which team was it in Europe?
Best team I've played in Europe is Toronto Leblanc.
Who?
The Black Panthers.
See, you say it in the French pronunciation.
Them or Marseille.
You say it in the French pronunciation. I do not understand the French one. I say it in the butchered English
fair.
French one.
Yeah, so either Toronto, the Black Panthers, or Marseille, the Blue Stars.
The Blue Stars were dominant in France last year. The regular season.
Yes. What made them really good was they weren't crazy good in their secondary, but their box play was really good, and they blitzed every play. So, the south of France, there was always weak points in the O-lines, and they took advantage of that. I mean, I remember playing against them and just getting my ass absolutely handed to me almost every snap. I remember there was one play, they had a linebacker, his name's Eddie, he's number 5. He's a Team France guy. I think he's ELF now. I caught the snap and got hit. I didn't step back. I caught the snap, brought it to here, and got hit. He shot the gap. So, but once they went up against a more sound football team like Tonon, the Black Panthers, they got beat. So, I mean, Marseille was best at taking advantage of teams that were deficient in some way. Most teams on the O-line. But when they played a team that was really sound and solid, like the Black Panthers, it was game over.
Nice. Andre missed the entirety of that, but
I'll listen back to it. I thought my computer had enough energy, and it was 20% last time I checked, and everything just shut down all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well,
that's it for today.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, Cameron, thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit down and talk with us. It was a pleasure talking with you. We wish you the best of luck in this season.
I wish you the best of luck, except in your opener and that other time we play you. Okay? Okay.
I extend the same sentiment to you.
I wish you luck in our 40 yard.
The same sentiment.
I wish you luck in our 40 yard because you're gonna need it.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm always down for some competition. I love to compete. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I mean, when Vidar and Kristen told me that you guys wanted to have me on, I was excited. I enjoyed the conversation, and if you ever want to talk again, let me know. I'm always open.
That's awesome. And me and Ystad, are you coming to the opener or are you away? You're going to be away. Damn it, Ystad. Well, I'll see you in about 3 weeks, Cameron. These other knuckleheads, I don't know when.
I'll probably wait. Do you guys are you guys coming up to play Karlskoga this year?
No, they come to us.
Well, then I won't see you this year.
Bummer. Anyway, thanks a lot again, Cameron, and thank you to everyone listening to this podcast. Please make sure to go follow our Instagram account. We're at Gridirons of Europe. Ystad, do you have a shout out for the new YouTube channel where they can find that?
Yeah, if this video uploads, we have a YouTube channel, folks. The same name as everywhere. It's not a new name, so.
Gridirons of Europe on YouTube. Go find it. Go follow our Twitter account. We're at Gridirons Europe. And hey, you can find us on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts. Bye-bye.